You may remember back in October when I set up an experiment with the 2 kinds of garlic that I planted. And now that the garlic has sprouted, I wanted to give an update on that and talk a little bit more about growing garlic in general. If you haven't seen that other video, you can check this link in the corner or down in the description. And I won't say that you have to watch that one first, but if you don't, you might be a little lost. You won't get the story exposition and character development. Some characters might not even return for this one. Plus, there's always the curse of the sequel. Often it's not as good as the first one, but whatever. I can't tell you what to do. I can only try to make you feel guilty for not making the right choice. So anyway, let's get to it. So first, let's talk about this bed where I planted garlic in the ground just outside of the garden fence here. And of course, I'm just kidding about having to watch the other one first. I'll give you a quick recap as we go. So I planted 18 cloves of a softneck variety called Inchellium Red. And these were all cloves from last year's harvest. And then on the end, I planted 2 hardneck. These are Russian Giant, and I got those at a nursery. So I already know the answer here, but just let's double check for the audience. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and then 2 hardnecks on the end. You can even see the difference in the leaf pattern between the hardneck and the softneck. So 100% of these all came up, and that's fantastic. And it's really no surprise that they survived growing in the ground here, because we planted these in a similar manner, different location last year. They did really well. The one thing about this is that it wound up being a little bit lower than everything else because we added all of these wood chips around here after I planted these. And so the water, when it rains, it just winds up filling up in here. But I hope at least that having all these wood chips around here will just help to soak up a lot of that rain. And now onto the raised bed, and this is really what the experiment is about. Although it turned out to be not much of an experiment, even though I planted them in 2 different locations with different levels of insulation. Obviously, the temperature and the weather over the winter is completely out of my control. So I was thinking of the previous winter when we got down to 25 below 0 Fahrenheit, and it stayed below 0 for quite a while. So I was thinking there was a chance that it could get that bad again. Even the Farmer's Almanac said so. But it didn't turn out that way. It only got down to 10 below for one night, and it was not nearly as bad. So in the end, this was not a very rigorous test for cold hardiness, and all 5 cloves of softneck sprouted here. Ironically, it was actually one of the hardneck that was the only one that did not sprout out of all the garlic I planted. And I'm not sure what happened there, but hardneck is very cold hardy, so I can pretty much guarantee that was not temperature related. I may have to dig down in there a little bit at some point and see what happened. It might still sprout, but at this point, I kind of doubt it. Given these results, there's really no point in doing future updates on this because nothing noteworthy happened, so the experiment is essentially concluded. I will, of course, make a video when it's time to harvest and cure them. Well, I'm really looking forward to harvesting these in July. I can tell you that the Inchellium is delicious. It's more mild, but it's fantastic. And we are still using up last year's harvest almost 9 months later. We have not had the Russian Giant yet, but I have read that it has a very strong, hot flavor, so I can't wait to try that too. So thank you very much for watching. If this was helpful to you, please hit that thumbs up button and share the video with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.